We're Kyle and Jared Lott of Smack TV.
Each week we go into millions of homes to show you great hunting.
And we couldn't do what we do without TC Outdoors doing what they do.
It doesn't matter if your adventure takes you fishing in the local pond or on a cross-country hunt.
TC Outdoors is going to be there for you with gear, know-how, and support, just like they are for us.
They've been here for years. We know them.
And we trust them.
So come by TC Outdoors on Northside Drive. Tell them Jared and Kyle sent you.
Now welcome to the Georgia Southern Postgame Wrap-Up Show. I'm Josh Aubrey, being joined by Mike Anthony, sports editor, and Georgia Southern beat writer for the Statesboro Herald. We're here at Paulson Stadium, the first Saturday game of the season for the Eagles. It's homecoming, and they end up on the wrong end of a 35-27 victory for New Mexico State University. The Aggies came into this game. We knew that they had given up a lot of points defensively. Their offense, we knew quite a bit about. They were missing Rose, their leading running back, and still were able to knock off the Eagles here. A lot of offense in the first half, not a lot in the second. The Eagles, I think, were 53 total yards of offense in the second half, and no surprise in the score.
And like we talked about leading up into this game, the Georgia Southern offense, for all the strides that they may have made over the last couple of weeks, they haven't been consistent. And in the first half, it looked like they had made another step forward, a couple of big plays, a couple of sustained drives, putting points on the board, getting to play with a lead for the first time all season. They go into the break with a 24-21 advantage. You'd think that maybe they've got what it takes to outlast New Mexico State's offense in a track meet, but in the second half, I don't know what adjustments were or weren't made by either side, but New Mexico State, a bad defense, let's call it what it is, just absolutely stopped Georgia Southern in its tracks. The Eagles don't turn the ball over, but they can't get anything going against a pretty rough and banged-up Aggie defense. Meanwhile, on the other side of things, the Georgia Southern defense, while it did get a couple more interceptions, wins the turnover battle again. It gave up too many big plays, too many third-down conversions, couldn't get off the field, and more importantly, couldn't keep the Aggies off the scoreboard.
Yeah, and when you have to make a stop there at the end, or at least try to hold them to just a field goal, they end up not being able to make the play, and they score the go-ahead touchdown, and then Eagles, as you mentioned, stymied in the second half, were unable to pick up the first down when they needed it, missed it by about a yard.
Yeah, coming up short a little bit on offense and on defense. It was like being stuck inside of a horror movie there. Every time it was 3rd and 8, 3rd and 9, 3rd and 10 for New Mexico State. Georgia Southern doing all the things that they have to do. They get a little bit of pressure on a good quarterback in Tyler Rogers, putting him a little bit on the spot, but he's able to make a few plays with his feet, and then just not enough containment downfield. Every third down, it seemed like a New Mexico State receiver running open over the middle of the field, able to pick up not only first downs, but on many occasions, big chunks of yardage.
All right, well, let's send you out and see how things went and look at some of the highlights. Homecoming at Paulson Stadium, the Eagles' first Saturday game all season long, 16,000 plus on hand as the Eagles host New Mexico State. Alt uniforms and Irk on the front face mask, Adrian Peterson in the house, and the Eagles also honoring AP with his number 3 on the side of the helmet. As for the game, trouble early on as this pass breakup and hard hit. Tomarcio Reese called for targeting, review held up, and he was ejected from the game. The Aggies would then go 75 yards on 8 plays. Tyler Rogers goes in for the 5-yard score to make it 7-0. The Eagle offense trying to respond. Wesley Fields on the carry, picking up a first down later, 3rd and 8. And Shy Wirtz stopped just shy of the goal line. From there, the give is to L.A. Ramsby, who breaks the plane for the score, and we're tied at 7-all. But as has been the case this year, the opposition quickly responds. Rogers to a wide-open Gregory Hogan, who waltzes in for the 59-yard touchdown, 14-7 New Mexico State. But unlike the past few games, the Eagles quickly respond. Wesley Fields gets outside, and he goes 48 yards for the touchdown. Fields with 103 yards in the game, and we're tied at 14-all. Eagle great Adrian Peterson honored between quarters with a plaque noting his upcoming induction into the College Football Hall of Fame, joining Tracy Ham as the only 2 Eagles to accomplish that feat. And Peterson still looking like he could get out there and play. The Eagle defense playing inspired here, and a wild play as the pass incomplete, but McQuavey Brinson somehow is able to rip it away before it hits the ground, and the Eagles in great field position. The offense stalls though. Tyler Bass comes in to hit the field goal and gives Georgia Southern a 17-14 lead, but the Aggies right back. Rogers to Jason Huntley, who had 87 yards receiving, 101 rushing, filling in for the injured Larry Rose, the team's leading rusher. And then it's Rogers to Jaleel Scott, 21-17. On the ensuing kickoff, the Aggies trying a pooch kick, forgetting that Dexter Carter Jr. was up front, and Carter can run a little. Well, actually a lot. Carter off to the races, 70 yards for the touchdown. And the Eagles, finally with something to celebrate at halftime, leading 24-21. Second half, the offense trying to move downfield. Wirt swings the pass ahead to Miles Campbell, who gets 28 yards to the 40. Next, the give to DeMarcus Godfrey on the shovel pass, and he gets 18 yards. Unfortunately, the Eagles unable to get any closer, and Tyler Bass extends the lead to 27-21 with the 41-yard field goal. That was about it for the Georgia Southern offense. As for the Aggies, Rogers to Huntley. He gets down to the 33. That moves us to the 4th, and Rogers to Connor Kramer. To Bryce Roberts, and New Mexico State retakes the lead 28-27. Meanwhile, the Aggies making adjustments at halftime, trying to shut the Eagle pitchman, and the Eagles with only 53 yards of offense in the second half. The defense trying to give the offense a chance. Rogers picked off by Brinson, his second of the game, but the offense can't capitalize and would eventually be forced to punt. We move ahead late in the game, 3rd and long, and the pass to Anthony Muse to the 20, and then from the 5, Rogers lofts it up. Jaleel Scott hauls it in, 35-24. The Eagles with one final chance on 4th and long. Shai Wertz ends up just shy of the first down, and the Eagles fall to 0-5, losing 35-24. After the game, we talked to head coach Tyson Summers and some of the players about the game.
I feel that we get a win, our team go roll. As you see, we keep getting better and better every game. See, our offense put most points on the board. Our defense, Logan Hunt had 3 sacks tonight. Our D-line is tremendous. They're doing a good job with pass rush. Our linebackers are doing a good job in coverage. I believe in everything that we got to do. We just got to get a win. When we get a win, we're going to roll.
We got to get on those as players. We got to stay on that. Those little things that are happening. That's on the players. We got to get on them and cut out those little mistakes. We want to win. We want to win. We see. I mean, the problem is that we see everything, and we want to win so bad to bring it back to Statesboro. This is my senior year. I don't want to go out like this. I promise you that every single day I'm going out there to work with trying to get a win.
We just gotta keep fighting, man. You know, first half went pretty good for us, and then we just gotta bounce back in the second half. And just, man, they came out and played. They made adjustments. We made adjustments as well, and I feel like they just kind of outworked us tonight.
What'd they do in the second half, do you feel like?
I feel like they probably played the pitch a little bit more, try to box it in by playing the pitch as well and crashing everything down. But I feel like they did a pretty good job of doing that, trying to get us confused, and we just got to get back to the drawing boards and see what we did wrong and correct it.
What's morale after a loss like this?
Oh man, it's frustrating. Obviously, you know, we go hard every week. You know, we just gotta continue to bounce back and just got to continue to grind. And it's just tough, man. Life ain't easy. Football is not easy. If it was easy, everybody would be doing it. So we just got to continue to get back in the training room, get back in the weight room, get back in the practice field, and get back in watching film again. And just got to grind even harder. It's just gonna make us tougher.
Another hard loss, very difficult, tough pill to swallow, and you know, my heart goes out for these young men, as hard as they are working, as much as they deserve a win, and as much as we've worked to put ourselves in an opportunity for a win, we weren't able to get it. And there's not necessarily, you know, a lot of different things to point out. It is just very frustrating right now for where we're at when we should be in a position to be celebrating right now, and we're not. And that's where I'm at. My heart goes out. I'm upset, frustrated, I'm ticked, every bit of it. And so with that, I'll let y'all go on with any questions.
First half played pretty well, especially on the offensive side of the ball. Second half, I don't know if they just made adjustments, if you guys were flat. What happened in the second half?
Well, we only have 5 drives. We only have 5 drives on offense in the half, and not nearly enough first downs. And don't get anything going. We do have 2 field goals in that second half, but they made some adjustments. We tried to get some things going, but we obviously didn't move the ball the way that we needed to, and put us in position to not have any success on that side at that point in time, you know, and didn't have. I don't think we had any turnovers, did we? And so those things that's they didn't do anything to put the ball on the ground or throw an interception or anything like that. One in particular untimely penalty where we need to be able to come up with something. We've just gotten a big turnover. But second half, like I said, we only got 5 drives. Don't do anything with them. We do wind up kicking the 2 field goals in the second half, but not nearly enough production for what we need to do, and not nearly enough. Again, I don't think there was any lack of coming out flat or anything like that. I thought they had a lot of energy. I do, coming out of it, and you know, we wind up having a big kickoff return. There's plenty of energy around that. We've got to do a better job being able to make some adjustments in the second half, obviously, and we made plenty at halftime, and tried to change up some philosophies on some of the things we were doing, but again, we've got to be able to, when we get momentum like we had tonight, we've got to be able to hold on to it, and we're learning through that right now. Yes, sir.
They were without their top running back, one of the better players in the league, and yet your defense gives up 35 points. That's got to be pretty disheartening. What's happening on the defensive side of the ball? What happened tonight?
Well, you know, a number of different things. You know, we still did, I thought, and I thought to start the game we weren't able to play some of the coverage pieces that we need to. We didn't play very well on some individual routes that came up, and so we started making some adjustments that I think did help us at times, and we got put in some situations that weren't very advantageous for us. So we had to make adjustments as the game went on. It made us play with more depth. It made us play you know, a little bit different mindset, what we were trying to do, or the game plan that we had going into it. Some of the ejections factored into a lot of that, but we've got to do a better job. Again, we can't shoot ourselves in the foot. I mean, that's what tonight's game comes down to, and again, that's not finger pointing. That's not any of those things. We've got to be able to use this as an example to know that we don't ever want to feel like this off of these kind of, you know, mistakes again. But again, those are things that are on me. Those are things that are on me, and that's not on them. That's on me, because when it comes down to discipline, when it comes down to frustration, when it comes down to any of those things and how they respond or react, that is a response or react mechanism of something with the head coach that he's allowed in the program. It's on me. It's not on them. And again, I'll take that, and I've got to do a better job of it. And obviously, I've got to do a better job of being a disciplinarian.
Well, Mike, one of the things we didn't mention there in the beginning was the fact that Georgia Southern was playing without 3 players that were ejected, 2 on defense and 1 on offense. Coach Summers had mentioned about how much he wanted to fix some of the discipline issues. Maybe one play of the 3 might have been a little questionable, but but 3 players ejected is something you don't see very much.
Well, from where I was sitting, I would say 2 of them were the fighting one. Didn't quite see what went on in the pile, but when you say fighting, I'm thinking someone threw a punch. That's unacceptable at any level of football, and everybody knows you're gone. It doesn't matter whether you hit the guy or not. You're gone if you throw a punch, so definitely some issues to take care of there. But the targeting, the NCAA has to look at it. I know that there's a lot of emotion for us and for the players invested in Georgia Southern, but those were 2 very, very shaky calls, I thought. And for guys to have to leave the game, where at the end of the game you have Shyward shaken up on a blow to the head just because the guy missed him with his crown of his helmet and then hit him with his knee while launching at him. That's not targeting. I don't know. That's the things that you start thinking about when it's 0-5, I guess.
Well, Georgia Southern 0-5. Now they hit the road. Going up to Amherst, Massachusetts, to take on the UMass Minutemen, who, upon shooting this, had not won a game on the season. I don't know. I mean, if there's ever a time to win one, somebody's got to win one up there in Massachusetts.
It is, but if the Eagles put forth another inconsistent effort, they're going to have their work cut out for them to make sure that it's them that get out of there with the win. They've shown the ability to be good on defense for plays at a time. They've shown the ability on offense to be good for plays at a time. You haven't seen them make it last throughout an entire half, maybe close in the first half tonight, but you definitely haven't seen them make it last through 4 quarters, and eventually that's what they're going to have to do. This is a team that's growing. We hear that they're young, but young or not, you've got to be out there for all 60 minutes. If you aren't playing hard and executing for all 60 of them, you're just going to create a lot of hurdles for yourself.
All right, so the Eagles fall to 0-5 on the season. Next up, on the road at UMass. We thank you for joining us and hope to see you again soon.